Since its founding in 1995, Bioware grew in popularity among the gaming sphere with their role-playing games that featured rich stories and deep characters. After cutting their teeth by creating games based on the Dungeons & Dragons universe, Bioware switched over to another well-known license with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic in 2003. Knights of the Old Republic broke ground for Bioware in more ways than one. It was a huge critical success, and more importantly, it was the first RPG from the studio to hit home consoles in the form of the original Xbox. Bioware's ambitions only grew, and in the decade following the release of Knights of the Old Republic, Bioware would only rise and cement itself as one of the most talented developers in the world, before that prestige came crashing down following a less than stellar showing in recent years. The story of Bioware, however, is not what we're looking at today. Instead, we'll be taking a look at arguably Bioware's biggest and most successful series of games, Mass Effect. This is the story behind one of gaming's most fascinating universes and the people who brought it to life. This is the story of Mass Effect. Mass Effect's origins date back to the founding of Bioware itself. In 1995, Bioware was founded by Ray Mizuka and Greg Seshuk in the city of Edmonton in Alberta, Canada. Bioware's early titles included mech simulators and third-person shooters, but their best-known work was their trio of PC RPGs released between 1998 and 2002, based on the Dungeons & Dragons brand. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and Neverwinter Nights made Bioware one of the many well-known RPG developers of the era. Bioware's best-known work came from already established IPs, and this would continue with their next release, but the company had bigger plans. Frustrated with the licensing process and wanting to create their own worlds, the developers at Bioware began work on various new projects in the early 2000s. Jade Empire began development in 2001, and Dragon Age followed in 2002. Jade Empire was revealed in 2003 as an Xbox exclusive. Dragon Age was first shown off a year later at E3 2004 as a fantasy RPG for PCs. Both titles showed Bioware's ambitious plans to craft their own lineup of original RPGs, but there was still one more project to come. In September 2004, Bioware announced that they were working on yet another title, but this time the game would be running in Unreal Engine 3, a departure for the company, as they typically utilize their own in-house engines, notably the Infinity, Aurora, and Odyssey engines. This new title was still early in development, so details weren't being given away just yet. Many speculated that the new game would be a first-person shooter, given the popularity of the Unreal Engine with shooting titles. Others wondered what exactly Bioware was cooking up, and if the massive slate of original games they had in development would ever see the light of day. Bioware's unnamed Unreal project remained unnamed for over a year. It wasn't until X05, an Xbox press event held in Amsterdam that year, that Mass Effect was revealed to the world as an exclusive for Microsoft's upcoming Xbox 360. In a minute-long teaser, Bioware prepped the world for their first original IP set in the far future of the 23rd century. Early versions of alien creatures and Commander Shepard, the protagonist, were shown, but no gameplay or story details were revealed. No release date was given during the trailer, but it was clear that Bioware's future as a developer was promising. So promising that by the end of 2005, they partnered with Pandemic Studios, creating VG Holding Corp. Elevation Partners, a private equity fund, invested $300 million into the partnership, helping establish Bioware as one of the biggest independent developers in the games industry. Mass Effect began development in early 2004 after Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic development team completed a port of the title to PCs. Casey Hudson, the director of Knights of the Old Republic, once again led his team, with KOTOR scriptwriter Drew Karpyshyn coming onto Mass Effect as lead writer. Preston Wadamak served as lead designer and is also credited in creating the Mass Effect series. Mass Effect itself was meant as an evolution to Knights of the Old Republic, notably in the area of combat, moving away from turn-based traditional RPG mechanics to a faster-paced tactical third-person shooter. Bioware created the game as a first title in a trilogy of games, giving developers a chance to tell stories that their previous works were unable to do. Each of Mass Effect's various planets were headed by a single writer, with other writers on the team reviewing the work and making suggestions for changes. Games like Starflight and Star Control were huge inspiration for the game's sense of discovery through space exploration. Films like Star Wars, Alien, and Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within inspired the game's many artistic qualities. Going into 2006, not much was known about Mass Effect. In 2005, Jade Empire was released for the original Xbox to less than stellar sales, and many began to fear for Mass Effect's future. Mass Effect was shown off in greater detail than ever before during Microsoft's press conference at E3 2006. The trailer was primarily story-focused and took its time introducing new characters to many eager fans. No real gameplay was shown during the nearly 5-minute long trailer, but a rough idea was shown off featuring third-person shooting combat. Mass Effect showing at E3 helped it earn the Best Role-Playing Game Award at the show from the Game Critic Awards. The roadshow didn't stop there. In September 2006, Mass Effect was given a release window before the X06 event in Barcelona. Mass Effect was coming to the Xbox 360 sometime in 2007 alongside several other heavy-hitting games. Mass Effect wasn't shown to the public at X06, but a private demo was shown at the event. Gameplay features were detailed for the first time, including exploration and combat. Later that year in December, the Mass Effect demo was uploaded online for all to see. This demo, however, would pale in comparison to Mass Effect's next showing. At the Game Developers Conference in March of 2007, the first 60 minutes of gameplay for Mass Effect were shown off at the event. The demo wasn't a one-to-one experience that players would see with the final release, as certain sections from the first hour were cut due to time constraints. Still, players finally got a look at Commander Shepard in their first in-game mission, as well as the character creation tools used to personalize Commander Shepard to the player's liking. The demo received critical praise and only helped increase the hype surrounding Bioware's sci-fi epic. Mass Effect once again made an appearance at E3 in 2007, and it served as one of the final major showcases for the game. During Microsoft's press conference, Mass Effect largely took a backseat to Microsoft's biggest game of the year, Halo 3. However, new details about the game still emerged. Most notably, Mass Effect's release window was made even smaller with the announcement that the title would be coming out in November 2007. Just like at E3 2006, Mass Effect walked away from E3 winning the Game Critics Award for Best Role-Playing Game for the second year in a row. Mass Effect also won Best Console Game, but failed to win the overall Best in Show award, losing to Rock Band. Mass Effect continued to be shown off in the final months before its release, with the team at Bioware working around the clock to get the game ready for launch. Everything was going great for Bioware's new RPG, but 1 month before release, VG Holding Corp was purchased by Electronic Arts. While the deal didn't affect Mass Effect's release, or Bioware's upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog RPG for Nintendo DS, it did put more pressure than ever for Bioware to knock it out of the park. If Bioware wanted to be known for more than Star Wars or Dungeons & Dragons RPGs, this could be their last shot at doing so. After nearly 4 years of development, Mass Effect launched exclusively for the Xbox 360 on November 20th, 2007. A standard edition was made available, as well as a collector's edition that included an exclusive bonus disc, a 36-page art book, and a steelbook. Within 3 weeks of the game's launch, more than 1 million copies of Mass Effect were sold. Critically, the game was received with near universal acclaim. Game Informer awarded the title a 9.75 out of 10, IGN gave it a 9.4, and G4 TV's XPlay awarded it a perfect 5 out of 5. Mass Effect's popularity gave it a leg up when it came to the end of the year awards, but the title was largely overshadowed by other critically acclaimed releases like BioShock and Super Mario Galaxy. Mass Effect did win Best RPG Award at the 2008 Interactive Awards, and it won Game of the Year from the New York Times. Sadly for Mass Effect and Bioware, the title would soon gain more notoriety than ever before, thanks in part to conservative media circles. In early 2008, conservative bloggers and TV personalities brought attention to the game's optional side quest to become romantically involved with one of the game's NPCs. Articles and opinion pieces claimed that players were able to sodomize and rape their partner during in-game romantic scenes, with some going so far as describing the entire game as pornography. Claims were so ridiculous that even disbarred attorney Jack Thompson, a lawyer with a vendetta against violent and obscene video games, defended the game on Fox News, a conservative American news channel. The controversy quickly died down around the game, but left a lasting impact on the team at Bioware and how they would handle romantic relationships in future titles. Bioware's work wasn't done after release. On March 10, 2008, Bring Down the Sky, the first of 2 DLC expansions to Mass Effect, was released on the Xbox Live Marketplace. The DLC offered players a new mission to help save a planet and a chance to once again fill the shoes of Commander Shepard. Mass Effect's exclusivity to the Xbox 360 was short-lived. In early 2008, a PC port of Mass Effect was announced, following Bioware's line of previous Xbox exclusives to personal computers. The PC version released on May 28, 2008 to critical acclaim, much like the original Xbox 360 release. In addition to all of the original content, the PC version boasted better visuals, faster load times, and the Bring Down the Sky DLC as a free add-on. The PC version hit PAL regions a month later. The PC port of Mass Effect also marked the first release under Bioware's name to be published by EA. The PC port was handled primarily by Demiurge Studios, with the main teams at Bioware working on other projects. Demiurge continued their work on the original Mass Effect and released Pinnacle Station, the second and final piece of DLC for the game, on August 25, 2009, for both Xbox 360 and PC. The DLC came as a surprise to many, as Mass Effect 2 had already been revealed to the public with an anticipated release of Q1 2010. Pinnacle Station focused primarily on the game's combat, with a series of challenges ranging from time attack to survival. Pinnacle Station was met with harsh reviews, with IGN giving the DLC a 5 out of 10. The headline for the review summed it up nicely. Was this really necessary? By early 2010, Mass Effect 2 hit store shelves, and with it, the story of the original Mass Effect largely comes to an end. The beginning of Bioware's sci-fi trilogy managed to do everything it set out to accomplish, but there was one final frontier for the game. In 2012, after the release of Mass Effect 3, a re-release of the entire trilogy came out by the end of the year for PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. The trilogy included the first Mass Effect and marked the first time the original release was available on PlayStation 3. The PS3 port was handled by Edge of Reality, the same studio that ported Dragon Age Origins to the PS3 and Xbox 360. Mass Effect was also released on PlayStation Network as a downloadable title, but a physical standalone release of the first game never made it to Sony's 7th generation home console. My own experience with Mass Effect is surprisingly short-lived. I never had an Xbox 360 while it was Microsoft's primary console, and I didn't get a computer capable of running modern games until 2012. When Mass Effect hit the PlayStation Network, I immediately bought it with plans to play through the entire trilogy after I had already finished Mass Effect 2. Sadly, I never actually played this port until years later, in an attempt to cheer up my wife, who was recovering from a broken ankle. My time with the PS3 port didn't last more than a few hours. I was put off by the now outdated design, and my wife just wasn't into the game like she was others. That's mostly why I'm so excited for Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Not only is it an update to some of my favorite games of all time, but it's giving us a more modern version of the original Mass Effect for the first time. I plan on sinking my teeth back into the Mass Effect universe as soon as my copy of the game arrives. And you better believe, I'm starting with the original game. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on Mass Effect. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and share this video on your favorite social media sites. Subscribe to catch the next episode whenever it comes out next week. In the comments below, I want to know about your history with Mass Effect. Have you played it, and did you enjoy it? In the next part, we'll be taking a look at the second game in the Mass Effect trilogy, and one of my personal favorite games of all time, Mass Effect 2.